you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's Friday, and we have our series, Stories of Hope. My first guest today is Cathy Lucas. She's a survivor of child marriage. She got out of that marriage after 15 years. Kat is now an activist and an advocate who works with nonprofits like the Resiliency Foundation to raise awareness of child marriage and exact legislative change in the U.S. She's also a trauma-informed certified life coach with a concentration in holistic health and healing. She has 7 adult children, and has built a successful life for herself. She believes that we do not have to allow our adverse experiences to define our lives. Our power is in our hands. Welcome to the show today, Cathy Lucas.
Hello, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I said hello, 7 children. That's like,
yeah, I'm like, hello back. It is.
like hello. And what is the age group between your kids?
My oldest is getting ready to turn 45, and my youngest is 20, getting ready to turn 24.
Wow, that's amazing. You look amazing. Did you have
Thank
your
you.
oldest when you were in that first child marriage?
Yes, I had my oldest when I was 15.
Okay.
Yes, I had 3 before I was 22 and a miscarriage in there somewhere.
Okay. So today you want to talk to us about resiliency. You want
Yes.
to inspire us not to give up and to keep going and to focus on our strength no matter what is happening.
Yes.
So tell us about it. Tell us about why do you feel that that is such an important tool to focus on? What how does that demonstrate in your life on what you are experiencing with that word resiliency?
I learned in my years of my healing work that we basically create our own reality by and large. I mean, nothing is ever 100% true. There are people who live captive lives, literally, that don't have that opportunity. But I feel like most of us have if we have the emotional capacity to do so, our mindset is huge. And I've had a lot of adverse experiences in my life. I grew up in a certain amount of poverty. I remember not having indoor plumbing as a child in Appalachia. I married at 14. If I went through the list of adverse experiences, it would sound like I was a victim. And I choose to see those things as not what happened to me, but as experiences that I had. And that's what I learned when I changed my mindset from, why did this happen to me? Why did they do this to me? Why did, all those things. I had to learn to, in my emotional regulation journey, to accept that things happen to everyone. And if I look at the totality of my life, I've had a pretty amazing life. Like, I got to have my daughter since I was 15 years old. She just left here after spending a few hours with me. Like, I've got to experience all these things. Do I recommend them? No. Do I recommend a 15-year-old mother on any child? I do not. Like, I'm not saying it was easy. I'm not saying it was a healthy, healthy things that I've experienced. As with everyone, we've all experienced unhealthy, adverse experiences. And there's actually a survey called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, a score. And the reason that I teach and try to practice and spread the message of hope and resiliency is because I know the cost to ourselves and to our society, our families, everybody, the cost of not healing. And the cost is high. The economical cost is high, and mental illness, and it is a very hard, long undertaking to decide that you're going to heal, but it is well worth it. At 60, I can tell you it is. My mindset and my health is the best it's ever been. And I've been through a lot. Even in the last year and a half, I went through a divorce from my second husband. We were together almost 30 years. So, and it's like I even had to decide again. It's a decision repeatedly that you have to make a decision almost daily, maybe sometimes several times a day, that this is not going to win. This is not going to define who I am. I do not have to buckle to that. Feel it all, take in all the emotions of sadness, anger, do it, feel it, express it healthfully, get therapy, whatever you have to do, but, do not let it take you under and take over your life with the victim mentality, because it's detrimental to our health in so many ways and to the people around us and the world.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that you've had an amazing, challenging life, and that you've had some really, really hard experience and some very challenging experience, but that you rose out of all of the challenges, victoriously rising up, that you didn't stay in the victim consciousness and the victim mentality, and that you didn't let those experiences keep you down, and then telling the story of this is my life, or this is where I'm going to be, or this is how it's going to be. You kept persevering and changing your reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Repeatedly. Like if you just create it over and over again. And then everything starts in the mind. Like I'm not necessarily a religious person anymore. I have spiritual practices, but I do firmly believe that even creation itself began in the mind of God, and our own creation, whatever God is, universal, whatever. But everything begins, everything. Nothing can come into existence without a thought. And a lot of it is spoken. So it's like I've learned to be super careful what I think, what I tell myself, about other situations. My trauma has kept me at times ruminating on, adverse experiences, or even things as small as a conversation, or, something somebody did to me, and if I really stop and say, okay, what is the reality here? Really? I listen to I meditate twice a day. I do yoga and I do kickboxing, and those are literally my life-saving graces. Because it can lift me out of that mindset of look how terrible people are treating me or whatever. And that's not to say that people don't treat us terrible. And that's not to say that we should allow everybody in our orbit. I believe that everybody carries an energy, and not everybody's compatible, and not everybody's healthy to have in our lives. I've had to really be careful about who I allow in my life, and that doesn't mean I don't forgive people, but I did, a big part of my healing journey was realizing that forgiveness and reconciliation or relationship are totally different things.
You're coaching people today, so you're helping people, you're coaching people. How do people find you? Like if they want to learn more about your work, learn more about what it is that you do, how can people find you and look you up?
I'm on social media. I'm under Cathy Lucas on Instagram. It's called Age is an Attitude, and also on TikTok, and then on Facebook it's under Cathy Lucas.
Yeah. And so your daughters, what are well, I shouldn't say you have 7 daughters. How many?
Oh, I have 3 daughters and 4 sons.
So, and what are they doing for their life's work, their work? What are they involved in that they're doing?
My oldest daughter, she has 5 children, so that's a lot of her life's work. She has 5 of my lovely grandchildren. I have 12 grandchildren.
Wow.
Um, and they are like, it's a joy. My family is a joy. My life's a joy. It's, I mean, it has some hugely crappy parts, but I can say for sure it's overall, it's a joy. But she's the oldest, Jessica. Then my son, Adam, he actually he has quite the internet business of fishing. He's a professional fisherman, here in central Indiana, mostly. Him and the dachshund, and it's called A Bit Fishy. So he has an online fishing store and a YouTube and social media channel. And my third son works for a pharmaceutical company, in some kind of global, he's some kind of global manager. I'm not data manager.
Well, it sounds like,
So
all your children are, doing wonderful and awesome.
very wonderfully, they are. 2 of them were adopted from Ukraine as teenagers,
Yeah. Well,
and they have great lives as well.
I love that you came on to inspire us today with resiliency and sharing your story. We definitely want to have you back on in the future to talk to you further about some of the projects that you're involved in currently. Cathy, we want to thank you so much for coming on. We're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, everyone. I'm so excited to introduce you to Michael VanZetta. He has had plenty of years, 20 plus years experience in broadcasting and media work. And now he is the CEO of Pizzetta Media. It's content with a cause. Thank you for coming on the show today, Michael VanZetta.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So tell us about, what brings you on? What brings you on the Kornelia Stephanie Show today to highlight what you want to share?
Yeah, so a lot what we do, me and my wife created a company called VanZetta Media because I worked in broadcasting and I didn't think they focused more on people and their personal stories. So me and my wife decided to go at it alone and do that. And we're talking to a lot of different nonprofits and great stories and great people. But another reason why we're doing it is because I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2 in 2019, and I was working at another place. And the HR people said, well, if you tell people, then it may make other people uncomfortable. So then right away, I thought it was a negative thing. And I didn't say anything for 2.5 years. And eventually I left the place, and then I decided to be a consultant for another place. And I was nervous to tell them that, is this going to be, the scarlet letter of my career or anything like that? So eventually I told them, and they called me 15 minutes later, my boss, and said, whatever you need, we're here for you and all that. So then it made me think, okay, maybe this isn't a negative. And then I said things publicly, and it felt like a huge relief off my shoulders. And it got me to focus more on what I wanted to be my true self. And that was to help other people going through similar things. Because when I was diagnosed, I didn't see any videos or anything like that, people going through this. All I saw was a Wikipedia page for celebrities who have bipolar. So it's like, I need some other help. And with video skills, I'm doing that to other people and talking and sharing their stories on YouTube and podcast as well.
do you want to let the audience know what the YouTube channels are called so that they can go check that out?
Yeah, so the YouTube page is VanZetta Media Content with a Cause, and we're at 37,000 subscribers and counting. So we're excited about that.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And that's, you've got 37,000 since you started it, since like 2020 or something.
Yeah, since 2021. Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good increase. So congratulations. I definitely will check it out myself. So let's tell, a little bit about like what are some of the struggles that people go through with bipolar? Like what are some of the symptoms that people have to deal with?
So it's with bipolar disorder too, it's not as mood swings as much as bipolar disorder 1, but it's when something bad happens, it's like you're in a down deep hole, and then if one thing happens, you're a big celebration and all that. There's no middle ground, it's one or the other. So you're always on edge because, oh no, something bad's going to happen or something good's going to happen, but that good thing didn't work, or it's just like, I try to explain it like there's like all these voices yelling at the same time. And now with treatment and going therapy and all that, I could control that a little bit more.
Yeah. So are you currently like in therapy, and like is there medication that you're currently taking?
Yes. So I take medication and then I see a psychiatrist once a month and a therapist once a week.
Oh, okay. And so then basically they're helping you just to try to come to a calm state that of what you're having to deal with on a daily basis, and to remain in that calm middle state rather than
Yes.
going too low or too high, right? Because I'm sure like even when the with the going too high, that there would also be trouble like going to sleep and calming down, and like you stay high for like longer periods of time where you're not getting the rest that you need. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. And then that also comes with overconfidence that you can do everything. And then if you then can't, then again, that's where it goes negative. So with all the treatment and stuff, that does try to stabilize your mood into the middle ground.
Yeah. And so how have you been feeling now that you've been receiving this treatment, and that you're receiving the therapy, and that you're creating, your company, media with a cause, that you're doing this work? How does that feel in you, creating your life in this way?
It has changed my life because I always basically live to be what people wanted someone to be, to see. And now I get to actually be myself and have the confidence that people could think of me whatever they want, because I know what I'm doing makes me feel good. And, it's something I always dreamed of helping other people and using this medium to do that.
Yeah. And so what about your wife? What is your wife? I know you two started this company, but is this also what your wife does for a living as well?
No, so she's a school teacher. She's been in educational field for 20 years and she's a reading specialist. So her life is dealing with kids and all that.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. So she's got a full hand already. So, and
Yes.
she's also supporting you. So on your YouTube channel, what are some of the stories that people will be able to hear when they tune in?
So there's a lot of military focused stories. So we talked to a lot of veteran based nonprofits, and they really open up and tell their stories because there is a lot of mental health and veterans. And we not only cover mental health, just nonprofits in general, just so people could get a voice, because nonprofits, they pop up a lot and don't know how to get
Support.
people to help them. So that's what we're doing as well.
Yeah. So that's gotta be all feeling good, the people that you're helping. Also, the other thing that struck me is that when when you opened up to talk to your employer, the last one, when they didn't when they received your openness,
Yeah.
and you know that must have felt really, really good to feel that support and that freedom. Yeah.
Yes. Because it made me think it's not a negative, because when you're telling people, you're like, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. They didn't like freak out or anything. And then when you hear something like that, be like, okay, it is. I would make other people upset. So then I'm back in that hole of, this is bad. I'm not, normal, or something like that. So feeling that way of saying, okay, it's no big deal. It, changes the way I feel.
Yeah. And would you think that it also supported you in, remaining some order of stability in your life as well, having that support?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I think this is incredible. There's a lot of people out there suffering with bipolar or any other mental illnesses, and that hearing your story uh, hopefully will inspire them that they can get the help and the support they need, and then still do creative work, still offer their creativity and inspiration to the world. How can people look you up on social media and find you?
Yeah, so we have a website, pizettamedia.com, Pizeetta. And then we're on YouTube, and you could catch our podcast, which is Pizetta Media Podcast with a Cause. And that's on wherever you listen to platform podcast.
Yeah. Well, Michael, I think this is incredible what you're doing. Congratulations for your success. We'll definitely check you out on your YouTube channel. And thank you so much for coming on the show today, and continued success to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. My next guest is LaDonna McAbee. She's married to her high school sweetheart for 40 plus years. She's the mom of two beautiful daughters and mama and granny to four perfect grandchildren. She's excited to be a 4 times best-selling international author and a unique multi-business owner, CEO of Networking Expert and Millionaire Marketplace, where you learn to make connections, network, collaborate, and make more money. Well, welcome to the show today, LaDonna.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here with you today.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. In the green room, we were talking a little bit about your message, what you want to share today with the audience, what you want to inspire everyone with. And you said,
I want everyone to know I try to really strive on, no matter what situation you were in when you were a child, a teenager, a young adult, or even an older adult, no matter what your situations are, there are so many so many different kinds of abuse out there. You do not have to stay in that mindset. You don't have to become an abuser because you were abused. You can go outside that box and you can grow on it. You can extend on it. If you were molested as a child, you don't have to be a molester. If you were raped as a child, you don't have to be a rapist. No matter what you have went through in your life, you can overcome. I was one of 22 women that were in the Cinderella monologues, and the Cinderella monologue book was all about overcoming and thriving as something else in your life. For me, I own 2 different businesses. I'm a wonderful mother. Am I the best mom in the world? I don't know if there are, but I was a great mom. I'm a awesome grandmother. I made a great wife. I'm really good, a really good friend. If you ever need one, I'm there for you. So I want people to really know that you can overcome whatever tragedies that you've been through. It may take time and a lot of effort, but you can overcome those challenges.
Yeah, that's a really good, inspiring message. And for sure, people can overcome the challenges that they find themselves in, including becoming an entrepreneur and making your life better financially and bringing more money in. So I'm struck by your banner behind you, the Millionaire Banner. And tell us a little bit about your networking business and network marketing. Is that right?
Yes. So I am well known as in my community as the networking and follow up queen because I truly take it personable. And because when you're building a business, if you're a new business or been in business 25 years, you have to have your mind made up that you have to keep that funnel fed each and every day. You must connect with the right people, network with those right people, collaborate with those people, and then you make the money. Because you know what? When you're in business for yourself, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. You're trying to be your own accountant. You're trying to be your publisher. You're trying to be your voice. You're trying to look good. You're trying to do all of these things. You don't have all these departments in there with you doing it. When you first start out, and some of us even years later, we still don't. Because it takes a lot to, you got to make a lot to be able to afford these things. So what I tell people, if you're collaborating, making the connections and networking and collaborating, you have a whole bunch of people helping you build your business instead of just one. And then you can all expand, you can all thrive, you can all grow together into the potential that you want and your business can.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important.
Yeah. So also the other thing, I mean, being an entrepreneur is hard, like you said, all the reasons that you mentioned, and staying connected and staying in the vision of what it is that you want to create, but also doing something that you really, really love. And so obviously the business that you're involved in, your networking business, your marketing business, you really love it. Do you want to tell us what it is?
Absolutely. I teach people truly. I have a strategy course put together. Yes, but it's not cookie cutter. I individualize each and every person in their strategies and put a course together and teach them how to connect, network, and collaborate with other groups, other people, other businesses. I mean, I literally hold their hands if that's what they need. And I will do that for 3 sessions or an entire year. It doesn't matter. It's ever how long it takes for us to gain those goals that you set. We even talk about goals. So many times I'll sit with someone and I'll say, okay, what was your goal for 2023? And they'll say, well, the magic number is that 6-figure number. That's what most people will say. I want to make 6 figures. And I'm like, okay, well, today is August 4th. How much money have you made so far? Well, I've made $3,000. Well, we have a lot of work to do. I never say we can't do it because can't is not in the vocabulary. You have to keep going. And I don't like the word try. No, you have to overcome those strategies that have been put in your way, make new strategies. But so many times I find that they did not make short-term goals. They only made long-term goals. You have to have the short-term goals to go with the long-term goals. And you know what's so important about those is you need to reward yourself each and every time that you make those short-term goals. Because guess what? Then you want to go on to the next one and the next one. It doesn't become so dragged out, so much dramatic. oh my gosh, I got to get up today because I've got to make that new goal. No, I've got to get up today because I'll make that goal and I can buy me a new dress. I can buy me a new tube of lipstick. I can have an extra drink. Whatever it is, we're all different. And you know what? My business is one way. And I could have a lady over here trying to sell, let's just say, a bottle of lotion. And this lady over here is trying to sell a bottle of lotion. You guess what? The strategy plans cannot be the same because A has different goals than B, and she likes to sell her product different than this product. So I put a strategic plan together for each individual person. And that's what I think makes my business so much different than so many people out there. They have a book, they have put together, they have a program, they have put together. Now here it is. Now let's go follow through it. And I don't do group coaching. All of mine's individual coaching because again, I think you have to have individual coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think that's very spot on, especially nowadays with so many courses out there, people selling, a generic evergreen course for, every person. And every person is unique. Every person is individual. Your business is unique and individual. How do people find you on social media and check out your work?
You just go to www.LaDonnaMcAbee.com is my website. You can find me all over social media. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can find me just about anywhere and everywhere. I try to make myself known as much as possible, as all of us do.
Yeah.
It's all about where you're at, when you're at, and being at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
And and you know what, when you were talking about the cookie cutter plan and then these courses that are put together, there's nothing wrong with those courses for some people. But for others, like me, I would buy that course and I would look at it and I would never touch it again because I need hands-on help. I truly do. Even if it's virtual, I need that accountability. I tell people when I was going to school, I can remember even elementary, middle school, high school, college. I learned a little slower than the others. I didn't read as fast. I didn't understand as much. But look where I am today. Yeah. But I have figured out what I need. And what I don't need is just someone to sell me a book and say, okay, go get it. Go do it. I can't do it.
I think the other thing with that is, when we're working online, it can get kind of lonely sometimes. And when you're just watching videos or you're reading something or whatever, but having that accountability, having somebody to talk to, like you said, somebody to hold your hand. LaDonna McAbee, I'm so glad you came on the show today. I wish you continued success, and maybe you'll come back again and we'll have you on a future show.
Absolutely. And I would like to make a free offer. If you go to the website, LaDonnaMcAbee.com, you will see a free downloadable that you can print or save on your laptop or computer. And it gives you a little bit about networking and how the fundamentals work, but not a plan. No. Don't take it as a plan.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited to introduce you to Paula McDade. Wait till you meet this beautiful lady. She's a dynamic force in the creative space. She's known as the idea mogul for her unparalleled creative genius as the chief creative officer of Stellar Creative LLC, a boutique brand specializing in graphic design, branding, and publishing service. Paula's dedication to empowering busy creatives and entrepreneurs has garnered respect and notoriety in her industry. She was recently nominated as of 100 Magazine's 100 Wildly Capable Women. Paula is the editor-in-chief of the Brilliant Awakening magazine and the creative director of the Brilliant Awakening anthology series, a compelling collection of stories from courageous women who have triumphed over tragedy and abuse. Notably, her first anthology was honored with a nomination for the Anthology of the Year by the Indie Author of Legacy Awards Committee. welcome to the show today. I could go on and share more of your successes and everything you've created in your second life career, right?
Second,
Because that's what we were
yeah.
talking about. So, welcome to the show today. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
So, wow. So, we were talking in the green room about how you're doing now what you were really meant to do, but it wasn't always like that, and how this changed for you when it did.
Yes,
So, do you
yes.
want to tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, again, thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. Love your work. I've watched a few of your previous interviews and just love your style of what you do. But anyway, yeah, getting into my story. So yes, at midlife, um, I was just bored with my work and what I was doing. I was in sales, particularly multi-level marketing, which is a hard sort of road for some if you don't have those natural sales abilities and people skills, etc. I am somewhat of an introvert, so I found that it was a little more challenging for me in particular to do that type of work. And I came to a point where I was like, something has got to change. I was very just at a point of frustration, discomfort, all of those things. And I said, maybe I need to look within and find out what it is that I'm really here, put on this earth to do. And so I started to look within. I started to do some self work on who I am and things like that, consulted with a life coach. And eventually I landed on graphic design. I had been doing different little things like flyers and business cards for my family and friends for free, just no charge. And I thought, you enjoy doing this. You could probably turn it into a business. And so, yeah, I went and I sought a mentor in the industry. She took me under her wing, taught me the ropes and how to do all of the things that graphic designers do, and launched my business. And here I am. So
So, how
that's the
many years?
short.
That's a short story. Yeah. So, how many years has it been now since you've been doing this?
So I formed my LLC in 2018, but I probably started doing graphic design, I don't know, probably in the 2010 era, just again for free.
Yeah.
But it formally LLC was formed in 2018.
So, and this is something that you really, really love doing. And so, what is it exactly that you do when you say graphic design? Who's your clients? Who are your
So that
clients?
does encompass quite a broad range of things. When you say that, people don't really know. So to hone in on that, the other side of what I do is publishing. That came along a little bit later. When it comes to graphic design, we're talking things like designing people's social media presence. So their banners that go on the top of their Facebook or Instagram or whatever page, some of their social media graphics and things like that. But when it comes to the publishing side, I also design book covers, which is one of my absolutely favorite projects in the world. Love book cover design. But then I also get into designing the interior of the book so that it's all formatted properly, table of contents, things like that. That's also an element of design. So I do a lot of different things. I've designed some logo pieces for people. And then I also do some branding work with different clients, particularly right now I'm working with a cookie brand. This lady does amazing sugar cookies that just melt in your mouth. And I work with her. She's also a friend of mine, but she's a client, and we're working to rebrand her cookie brand so that she can go nationwide. So those are just a few of the things that I do under the umbrella of Stellar Creative.
Yeah, I just think, you have such a beautiful presentation already. So I can see that your design, that how you would put your, energy into what it is that you're creating, and how it
Thank
would be represented beautifully. It's good to know that you're doing the publishing and the book covering, because, a lot of times I come across a lot of entrepreneurs that are looking for people like you at different stages in their life, right? And so, like, for instance, I know somebody right now that is also publishing a book or writing a book. She's not publishing yet. She's still in the process of writing, but that time will come. when
Sure.
that book cover needs to. So it's always good to meet creatives like you, where I can then tap into my resource and support the people that I meet. So
Absolutely.
how much do you, like, what's your daily life looking like when you're creating, um, designing? Both.
Oh, it varies. No day is the same. Every
Wow.
day is different depending on what I'm working on. If I'm really into it, I could really spend 2 or 3 hours, a block of time, just in one project, designing and putting things together and pulling things together to make it all nice and pretty. So it just kind of depends. There are days when if I'm doing a book cover, I like to sort of go from start to finish on at least the front cover, because the front and back are two different elements. So I really like to hone in on that front cover and really spend a good hour, hour and a half, just really putting that together and polishing it up. And then I might do a couple of different versions of that. So the client has more than one choice to choose from. And so that could take, a couple of hours to get that done. So yeah, every day looks completely different. And by the way, I'm one of those business owners that also works a day job. And
Oh,
I'm not ashamed to say that, because a lot of people think that entrepreneurship is this glamorous sort of, oh, you just float around on a cloud and you do all this business stuff. And for some of us, it's not like that yet. Eventually, I do plan to build and scale my business to that point where I'm full time. But right now, I'm doing both, and I really love that aspect as well.
wow, that's amazing. What is it that you're doing in your day job as well?
So I work for a nonprofit foundation, and I am their graphic designer. So my title is communications coordinator, but that encompasses graphic design, social media management, and some of their written materials as well, like press releases and marketing material.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, I think that's such a perfect fit where, you're still able to utilize your skills and also get paid for it and also continue on improving what it is that you're doing. So
Yes.
that's really brilliant. Where can people find you on social media? Do you have like a social media presence where people can follow you?
I do. I try to keep it very simple. So Stellar Creates, Stellar creates with an S.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us what you were saying.
I said I also have a freebie for those who visit my website, because I do publishing. I also would like to educate people. I'm an educator as well at heart. And so I want to give people a free ebook about the process of self-publishing, because I feel like self-publishing is one of those unknown type of, terrain. Sometimes people don't know the process. So once you go to my website, you can find the freebie there.
Good. I'm going to go ahead and definitely put your information into my back pocket so that I can. We have a lot of people that come through the KS Media Group, and that I can support the people with the self publishing because, like I said, I know someone that is in that process right now. So it's wonderful what you're doing. And thank you so much for coming on the show today to inspire us creatives to get our works out there in the world because, hey, that's what it is that we're doing to inspire each other and support each other and help each other make the world a better place.
Absolutely right. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.